Hi folks, I just thought I'd make a quick video demonstrating the behavior of the 3G or GPRS connection capabilities of the LiftlogXL. We got a lot of questions about this. I get that it's sort of not something that you would have, or you or your techs would have interacted with much in the past with other equipment. But really it's pretty straightforward. So in this video I'm going to show you what it looks like when it works properly, and then I'm going to break it a bit and you can see what it looks like when it's broken. So I've downloaded a current version of the FSU, always important to do that, and there's a LiftlogXL on my bench called Frank. I'm going to connect to that. Here's Frank. We're interested in the comms tab, and really there's only one parameter you'll ever change on the comms tab, and that's Telstra, and that's the access point name. If you buy it from us in Australia, then it's Telstra.m2m, comes pre-configured, there's nothing for you to do. If you bought it in other countries and elsewhere in the world, then your vendor will have set that up for you as well in advance. And you would have seen just then that the text down the bottom went from connecting to connected, and well, that's about it really. That's sort of all there is to it. In a few seconds the signal strength graph will update on the right hand side as well, and as long as you see connected in that down the bottom of the screen, then the 3G stuff's working just fine. I'll try and get that signal strength graph to update. Bear with me. No, it'll update. Now I'm going to introduce you here to this little button down the bottom right hand corner. This is a diagnostic screen, and it's useful when you're trying to work out when something's gone wrong, or on what's going on. Perhaps not so much for the crane techs, but if you can get some kind of remote control session going to their laptop, it's really good for your senior engineers to be able to look over their shoulders, or indeed for us to be able to look over our shoulders. If you go to the support page on our website, you see we've got a process there for where a tech can set up his mobile phone as a wireless access point, connect the laptop to it, and we can support them by remote control from, well, pretty much anywhere in the world. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to power down the XL, and then I'm going to open this diagnostic screen, and you can see what it looks like when everything's working fine. Okay, so I've just brought up that the XL again, and we're going to jump straight in and get onto this diagnostic screen. Hang on a second. No, we really are. Wait for it. Okay. Okay. Step one of bringing the system up is to register the mobile phone on the module on the network, which it's doing. Now it's going to ask for the serial number of the SIM card, which this SIM card won't give it because we've locked this SIM card. It's one of our development ones. Now it's going to set what's called the context, which is pretty much the login parameters for the mobile phone connection. And here you can see that text that was on the configuration tab of the field service utility screen. Okay, and it's configuring, and now it's activating. And it's activated, and you can see it's got an IP address back, and everything's all good. Bang, and it's brought itself up, and it's not only has it brought itself up, it's dialed, it's connected, and it's sent some overload information. Oh, I don't have any inputs configured on this device, so the input loads are flat, are all over the place. Okay, so let's go through it again. Registers itself on the mobile phone network. Logs in using the credentials that you gave it. Does a bunch of other stuff, and then finally activates that connection and gets a network address back. These are the key aspects of this system, of this process, that indicate that it's all working properly. Okay, so then the next test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the SIM card from the unit to simulate a faulty SIM card or a SIM card that hasn't been activated with the carrier. Okay, the first thing you'll notice with any fault or problem to do with the 3G or GPRS connection is it'll sit here at this connecting stage forever. It'll never go to connected or online. We look at the diagnostic screen here, and we can see it's here trying to register itself on the mobile phone network, and it's coming back with an error code of 3 and a fail, and it'll just sit there forever doing that because the SIM card it's got in isn't valid. Watch what happens when I push the SIM card in. Get in there. Right. It's failing, and now it'll come back and, oh, that's changed to a 2, which means it's looking for a cell. Still looking for a cell. Bingo, it's found a cell. Match, and now it will go on and proceed to do the rest of the connection. Wait a few seconds and you'll see it come up. That's just not getting the SIM card serial number back. Set the context, and so on and so forth. So the next thing I'll do is I'll remove the antenna from the device, from the LiftlogXL. So you can see what happens when you've got a broken antenna connection or a faulty antenna, or it's just been smashed or something like that. Here you go, waiting to activate, and it's all online and all good. Okay, here you can see we've powered the module up, and we're stuck at this CREG 0,2 fail stage, and it'll keep doing this forever as well. So it's looking for a cellular a cell on the network to connect to. It can't find one because it's got no antenna. It simply can't communicate with the cell tower. So it thinks that there's no cell tower for it to connect to. And again, I'll plug that antenna back in over here, and a little bit of poking around, and click. And what you'll see is, in the fullness of time, give it a few seconds. Well, see, it's found a cell tower now, and it's going to connect. So they're the two. That's what it looks like when you've either got a bad SIM card or a faulty antenna. It gets stuck at this trying to register on the network stage. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this. I'm going to change this. We're going to change the only configurable parameter of the system pretty much to be incorrect. We're going to save that setting, and now I'm going to restart, and I'll show you what it looks like when you get that parameter wrong. Okay, so here we are. We're bringing this thing up now. We've registered on the network. We're going to go through trying to get the SIM card serial number. That didn't work. It's fine. Now we're going to try and log into the cellular network. And we're going to use it, trying to do that using this incorrect parameter here. And it does all this thing, and you'll see when it went to activate the connection, it got an error. What the system then does is says, well, there was a problem, so it reboots the 3G modem, and what you'll see it do is it reboots it and then powers it down and powers it back up again. This is analogous to turning your mobile phone off and then back on again. It's doing that, and it'll have another go at trying to make a connection using those parameters. And essentially it will sit there and going through this cycle endlessly until that parameter is corrected. And what you will see here is, again, it'll be stuck at the connecting stage. Fixing this to that will on the next cycle round will result in a connection being made. So they're pretty much the three the only three things that can really go wrong, bar perhaps a faulty piece of hardware and nothing appearing on that diagnostic screen. And they're pretty easy to spot. They're certainly easy to talk somebody through. You also have the option of, with this screen here, saving it to a file. So even if the tech can't quite get his head around all the gobbledygook that's appearing on the screen, they can at least they can at least save it to a file and email it to you or to us, and we can tell you what's going on. It's pretty obvious when you look at it. One more little trick when you're on this screen as well is if I actually move the crane now, like that, you see some debugging information relating to that. So a move occurred and it added that move to the transmit queue. There was stuff to send. This was the number of pending items to send, and where you see this TX line here, that is the data actually being sent to the server. So if you see a TX there, you know that data is actually being transmitted across the internet. And that's about it. Really, it's not as complicated as you might think.